Saints Now is sponsored by Mint Mobile. They have cell phone plans starting as low as $15 per month. You can start saving today by going to mintmobile.com/chatsports. We'll tell you more about them later on at today's show. I am Will Scott. Welcome into today's show. We're going to be talking about some Saints trade targets, guys that the Saints can go out and get to help improve their football team. We'll bring on producer Trace Girouard here shortly. But a lot of questions at quarterback right now for the Saints. Jameis Winston has not been 100%, and he has not played well when he hasn't been 100%, obviously. He's missed the last 2 games, and now Andy Dalton's a little bit banged up. So maybe the Saints should have a serious conversation about trading for a quarterback. I don't know the likelihood of that happening in season, but if it does happen, maybe you call the Patriots about Mac Jones, because there does appear to be a quarterback controversy brewing in New England. Bailey Zappe, the 4th-round pick out of Western Kentucky and Houston Baptist University, go Huskies, has played well. And that has led to maybe a potential controversy, not to mention Dov Kleiman tweeted this out earlier today. Mac Jones' relationship with the Patriots has gone sideways. Wait a second, why are you hiring a defensive coach as my offensive coordinator? Albert Breer was on the Dan Patrick Show and detailed the friction in the relationships. Pats wanted Mac to get surgery, and Mac declined. So not only is Bailey Zappe kind of giving Mac Jones, a run at his job, but also apparently the relationship between Mac and the Patriots has soured somewhat. Here's what Bailey Zappe has done in 3 games and 2 starts. He's 2-0 as the starter after taking over for Mac Jones, who is 1-3. 72.9% completion percentage, 595 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. And this guy broke Joe Burrow's passing touchdown record last season in college. Let's just not act like this guy came out of nowhere. If you follow college football, you know all about this guy. He was phenomenal at Western Kentucky, made the jump to the FBS level after being the best quarterback at the FCS level with Houston Baptist, and now he's playing well in the NFL in his rookie season. I really like Zappe, man, and I feel like he might be the long-term answer at QB for the Patriots. Who do you want the Saints quarterback, though, to be in 2023? Go down in the comment section and let me know. It is the pinned comment on today's video. When ad break comes, go down, chime in. I have no idea who's going to be the quarterback. What complicates that if you're the Saints is you don't have a first-round pick, right? This is a deep QB class, but you're not going to have a first-round pick. Bold prediction, producer Trace, I think Hendon Hooker is going to be the
I want Hendon Hooker. I want him so bad. I want him so bad. I've been saying it for weeks. I was saying it for weeks. Give me Hendon Hooker right now.
Well, because Hooker's not going to be a first-round pick. He's going to be 25 years old.
Well, after this past weekend, maybe.
He's going to be 25 years old. I think the age is going to impact his stock, but maybe a second-round pick for the Saints. I really like the idea of bringing Hendon Hooker to New Orleans. Let's talk about Brian Burns now. This is a guy that's been in some NFL trade rumors. Apparently, he's going to get traded by the deadline. There's going to be a lot of Panthers players we see that get traded, and you could add him to this linebacker room. Pete Werner right now and Demario Davis, kind of your stars at that position, but you can get a lot better at this position. Caden Ellis as well, but I think you need to get better at the linebacker position, and I think you can do that by trading for Brian Burns, who has 4 sacks this season, 6 tackles for loss, 6 QB hits. He deserves better than the Carolina Panthers, let's be honest. Now, would the Panthers trade him in the division? I don't know. An in-division trade, especially mid-season, is a little bit rare. That's why I think it's unlikely, but it's an option if you have to try it, right? You got to get better on defense. You got to get better. You got to get better everywhere for the New Orleans Saints right now. But the Saints defense right now, the scoring defense, one of the worst in the league. I believe 27th they're ranked in points allowed. That's not good. Should the Saints be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline? Type B for buyers or type S for sellers down in the comment section. Go down, let me know what you think. Man, if they lose one more game, if they lose on Thursday night, I might have to say sellers. Right now, though, I would say buyers because I think they beat the Cardinals on Thursday night. I want to tell you about our friends over at Mint Mobile because they are bringing you unlimited premium wireless and plans starting as low as $15 per month. Your service will switch seamlessly between 5G and 4G LTE, whatever network is the strongest. Have you ever been on your phone, whether you have your Verizon or AT&T and your network is not on the strongest possible connection? That's not going to happen with Mint Mobile. You can use your data also however you like, even where coffee shops don't exist. Go and take advantage of this great deal. $15 per month on your cell phone plan. We're all trying to save money right now with inflation. Mint Mobile is a great way to do that. MintMobile.com/chatsports. That link is in the comments and the description of this video. Let's talk about another quarterback now, and it's Justin Fields. I don't think this is likely to happen in the middle of the season. I think the Bears are going to want to see how he does as the start of the rest of the year. But if he struggles, then maybe he'll be a trade candidate at the end of the season. And how about reuniting him with Chris Olave? I like this idea, Producer Trace. I like this idea a lot. Reunite him with his old pal, Chris Olave, in New Orleans. Look, I think Justin Fields has potential. He's just not in a good situation right now in Chicago. He has no weapons. He has no offensive line. He's going to be, if he gets traded to New Orleans after the season, he'd be a part of an improved offensive line. He'd have all these weapons around him. Chicago's new regime wants to pick their new QB. If that's the case, then this trade goes down after the season. I don't think this is a in-season trade. This would be an off-season trade. If Justin Fields, if they don't feel like he's the guy at the end of the season, they have a high draft pick, then maybe they go after a quarterback in the draft because it is a loaded QB class. Here is what Justin has done this season. A 54.8% completion percentage, nearly 900 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 picks. He has been great, but again, he's not in a good situation. Running the football, though, I mean, that's what the appeal is of maybe trading for Fields, is he is a dual threat. 54 carries, 282 yards, 5.2 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. I like the idea of him in New Orleans' system. Would you trade for Justin Fields? Type T for trade or type P for pass down in the comments section. Again, this would be an off-season trade, just so we make that clear. Off-season trade, would you do it? Type T for trade or type P for pass. Trace, big game on Thursday night, my friend. And are you going to be live?
Oh, baby. We're going to be live on Saints Now by Chat Sports for the Cardinals vs. Saints game. It's the first live stream ever. First live watch party, first live show no matter what. We're going to have a pregame show. During the game, we're going to be giving some play-by-play. We'll have a post-game reaction. We're going to have some fan interaction, a mailbag, cuts, everything that we have to go through, everything we're going to be discussing. We're going to be interacting with you guys. We're going to have some drinks, going to have some food, going to be hanging out. Abby's going to be with us, so it's going to be a good time. She's going to be hanging out. And the best part about all of this, it's free. $0, 0 cents, no catch, no fugazis, no shiesties, no nonsense. It's 100% free. You don't have to have Amazon Prime to watch it. You turn on the game. Screw their play-by-play. Ours is going to be a lot more fun. We're going to be having a good time, throwing down some shots, having a lot of fun. So, Who Dat Nation, show up, show out. Let's have a damn good time. Come on.
We're going to have a great time. So be sure to join us on Thursday night. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications because if you turn on your noties, you'll know when we go live. Going to be a lot of fun on Thursday night watching Kyler Murray. There he is. Play football on Thursday night. Dearness Johnson, let's talk about him as a potential running back trade target now. He's someone we've mentioned quite a lot here on Saints Now and a guy that I think makes a lot of sense when you look at this current running back depth chart. When Kamara, we thought he was going to get suspended. We talked about him then. We're still talking about him. I think he'd be better RB2 than Ingram. There's no question about that. And he could be a cheap trade because he's buried on Cleveland's depth chart. Right now, he is behind Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. He's RB3. He'd be a good RB1 in some places. I think he'd be good RB2 in New Orleans as we continue on here with our trade targets. Somebody go rescue DJ Moore, man. DJ Moore, anybody in Carolina deserves to be rescued right now. But especially DJ Moore, he is a trade target. Again, an in-division trade is unlikely, but you can't count the Panthers out in terms of making any move right now. Taking a look here at the wide receiver depth chart. Trace, why do you think this makes sense maybe?
See, I like this idea because there's obviously a lot of injuries on this depth chart. And so notable stuff to consider. Chris Olave was actually not on the initial injury report for this week. So it looks like he should play, so just wanted to give you that update right there. But Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry are not expected to play. They both have injuries that they're dealing with. Wide receiver depth is more important and more necessary than ever on any team. It doesn't matter if it's the Saints. It doesn't matter if it's an undefeated Eagles team. It doesn't matter. Wide receiver depth is a big key to success. And if we want to go and revisit last year and have horrible receiving and really bad, our wide receiver 4 be our wide receiver 1, then I guess don't make anything happen. But if you ask me, I think trading for a receiver like DJ Moore, a young and talented guy, makes a lot of sense. I just don't know if it will happen because it is the in-division trade. But wide receiver depth is important, and I think that it's at least worth having a ton of useful tools, because worst comes to worst, you just trade them away later.
MT is not 100% right now either, so that's why this might make sense. 204 yards this season for DJ. Go DJ! That's my DJ. 10.2 yards per catch, 1 touchdown for DJ Moore in Carolina this season. But with the trade of Robbie Anderson, I don't know if they're going to want to trade another wide receiver. But again, you can't count the Panthers out. They're going to be making some moves here at the deadline. Gardner Minshew, I love this guy, man. Love this guy. Backup quarterback in Philadelphia. Trace, you're somewhat familiar with the Eagles. What do you think about Gardner here?
I would personally love this. I would love Minshew Mania in New Orleans. I think it would be so much fun. I actually did a video way back in last offseason about, quarterback options for the Saints if they didn't want to roll with Jameis Winston. And Gardner Minshew was one of my top guys on there. I think that he brings a lot. Let's just look at these stats. Look at these stats. He brings a lot of swagger.
He's good.
He brings a lot of talent.
Right.
He brings a lot of energy, a lot of charisma. Tell me a guy like Gardner Minshew wouldn't fit in New Orleans incredibly well. He would be such a good culture fit. He would be such a good player in New Orleans. 41 touchdowns to 12 interceptions is pretty damn impressive. This is for his career. That's not bad. You have to bear in mind he started with the Jags and he had some time. He had last season with as a backup for Philly. He's sitting as the QB2 on Philly's depth chart. But at the end of the day, I think that it's one of those things that, why not see what's up? So you've already made a bunch of trades with the Eagles. Personally, I'd love this one, and I think, like I said, Minshew Mania would be so much fun in New Orleans. He would have a lot of energy. He need a lot of charisma, a lot of swagger, and he would just fit the New Orleans culture and the team and the culture that the Saints have built for themselves so dang well, and I would love to see it happen. Again, maybe he does, maybe doesn't. He's not a crazy talented guy, but better than what you got.
I don't think this should be a hot take. It might be. I think he's one of the 32 best QBs in the NFL.
I would agree. If you ask me, I would.
He deserves to be a starter.
Here's a super, super hot take. Right this second, give me Gardner Minshew over Andy Dalton.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's not even a question.
Gardner Minshew's
that's
younger.
Not even a question.
He has more mobility. He has more talent.
Would you take Gardner over Jameis?
Right now, yes. Right now, yes.
Okay.
The best ability is availability, purely based off that.
I could see, and I don't really see a trade for Gardner Minshew happening because I feel like they're pretty happy with Andy as the backup and what he's done, but Andy's a little bit hurt right now.
Yeah.
If you trade for Gardner Minshew, I think he gets you back in the playoff conversation.
Exactly.
I'm not even kidding when I say that.
And on top of that as well, it makes a lot of sense to me because he could be that QB or the QB2 behind Jameis Winston if you want to roll with Jameis, because Gardner Minshew is younger and he has a lot more talent but he's younger and he has a lot more in the tank than Andy Dalton does. That's not a mystery. Andy Dalton's been playing in the league forever.
Worst case, he could be your long-term backup.
Exactly. Right. Absolute worst case scenario, you have him be your long-term backup. And he's a good team guy. He's a good locker room guy. I'm not saying this would be solve all the problems, solve all the answers, and give every situation done between the Saints and their quarterback issues that seem to not go away after Drew Brees left. But I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate it either. I really like that idea. Do you like that idea? Should the Saints trade for a quarterback? Type Y for yes or type in for no down in the comment section. Go down. Let me know. We're talking about another quarterback right now. That is Mitchell Trubisky, who was the backup, the starter. He's going back and forth. He came in to replace Kenny Pickett after Pickett got a concussion last week and played well, helping lead the Steelers at least to that big win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which we appreciate, Pittsburgh. Thank you very much. 3 touchdowns, 2 picks this season. I'm not as high on Mitchell Trubisky as I am, Gardner Minshew and some other backups, but Kenny Pickett is starting to take over as the guy in Pittsburgh. In fact, surprisingly, Mike Tomlin said today that Pickett's probably going to start on Sunday Night Football against the Finns. I thought that Kenny Pickett would miss this week because he is in the concussion protocol, but he is progressing through that well. Mitchell Trubisky will go back to being the backup once again, which makes him a potential trade candidate. Who also is a trade candidate is Roquan Smith, the star linebacker from the Chicago Bears. We've talked about rescuing some Panthers. We need to rescue some Bears as well. Roquan Smith being one of those guys. He actually requested a trade before the season. It didn't happen. 3 tackles for loss, 2 QB hits, 1.5 sacks this year for Roquan. He's one of the best linebackers in the game. Saints have certainly had some tackling issues this season. Maybe you fix that by bringing in Roquan Smith, who would bring a lot to this defense. Leadership, talent, mentoring, possible long-term commitment as well. He wants to get paid. The Bears haven't paid him. Mickey Loomis, clock's ticking. Make this trade and pay Roquan Smith. Name a player that you want the Saints to trade for. Is it Gardner Minshew? Is it Roquan Smith? Is it Mac Jones? A lot of guys that might be traded here. Go down, subscribe to the channel for more trade rumors.